sauna studio a showroom for custom saunas. So let's make every sauna very different. Let's make it ourselves, because I'm telling you guys, like, this is going to be a showroom that members are going to pay for, right? And it became exactly that.
Yep.
So the studio was running successfully, and then really successfully, actually. Then we had our little suite upstairs in the Dingle Dangle building. And then as soon as we launched that, you put together that landing page, I said, dude, once we put this landing page on, people from all over the country are gonna be contacting us. So we called ourselves Northwest Custom Sauna, right? Was that it?
There's a few of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the
Northwest
original
Sauna
name.
Install.
Saunainstall.com.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And then we learned really quick that, you know, calls were coming in from all over the country. And as they'd speak to us, they realized, on the phone at least, you know, as we're consulting, both Sam and I, we were there to solve problems that the sauna industry and, you know, that they haven't been able to solve for the 50-year-old industry that the, you know, sauna is in the U.S. Like, so us being able to jump on the phone straight away, solve problems, do really cool, innovative things.
What's the biggest issue that Americans had compared to overseas?
Yeah, so Americans are kind of locked into this box of I don't know, rustic lumber, like grandma, grandpa, dingy. This is kind of what a sauna's supposed to look like. And so, you know, being partnered with Steve and knowing that, I mean, Sam and I can at this point visually, right, write any check we wanted, and Steve would have to cash it. So we're just telling people, like, what would you like a sauna to look like? So just the limitations in the U.S. It's like, it's all cedar, it's all this, and just kind of looks, I don't know, ugly.
It's also hard to find. It's also hard to find someone that builds saunas. You know, like in most towns, there's a carpenter that's this thing, and it's kind of word of mouth. They're not marketing and advertising out, or you kind of have your, like you said, the basic cedar boxes. You're going to Pool World and, you know, seeing whatever they can make for you. So elevating the sauna experience from the build side and design side we're kind of offering that to way more people, and, you know, being visible
and making sure the materials that we're using, you know, are more sustainable, they're better, less maintenance, you know, things we're thinking on, you know, how to make salt walls, because salt walls have been made, you know, before our time here, but they're always made with these ugly looking little bricks. And so we said, hey, let's do bigger bricks, let's do white bricks, let's make it easy change out, let's just elevate what the other guys are doing. And we started doing that. And, you know, the really cool thing is the organization that we've built. When you get on the phone with someone at Symmetry, you're guaranteed that you are talking to someone who is very convicted about health, meaning not only their words, but we're all in fantastic shape. There's nobody in our organization that you would not say is in really, really good shape, which is crazy.
And would you guys say you were ahead of the power curve or ahead of the popularity of this resurgence of sauna that's come in the past? Like, how long has that resurgence been? Like, you talked about Rogan talking about it, obviously Huberman talking about it, like people have been talking about it in the past. How long has that been? I can't remember. Like, has that been like 5 years or something like that?
Upward trend is probably 7. You know, it's at 7, 8 years it started, and then right when COVID hit, it really did take off. Yeah. Really.
Sometimes in success, timing has something to do with it.
Oh, for sure.
And the fact
and
that
then failure as well. I mean, when you have a painting business and COVID shuts down all the painting,
it's
that's
like out of your
problem.
control. But yeah, the fact that we decided to join forces and do this thing at this time in history is fortuitous. It was very good timing and also though, but you know, and Joe having the most experience in the sauna industry overall, it was like, when we build this thing, we don't want to do it like everyone else. There are all these other sauna companies out there who are doing plain Jane saunas. So we have to, we're going to present ourselves as very different, and we're going to build things that are very different from what anyone else is doing. And, you know, we found there's 2 or 3 other sauna companies in the U.S., 4 or 5 worldwide that are kind of, I think, on par with what we're doing with the design. With actually, we have teams that are our people that travel all over the U.S. to the Bahamas, to the UK, installing saunas now. So, you know, we are looking to go global with this thing.
And it kind of fits the way we've built the business, right? Like internally, you know, we've I guess there's a brain trust that says, you know, do it this way in sauna. A lot of the, you know, I call them dinosaurs. You know, some of them are my friends. Sorry if you're listening to this, but you know, who run other sauna companies, they're just dinosaurs, right? They're not, for some reason, it's not clicking. So for us, we've built not only do we build saunas like outside the box, right? But our organization, we've done kind of backward. Like we're all big on the nepotism, friends and family first, right? Let's lift our people up first, and let's build a powerhouse, you know, backward, right? But it's worked. It's gotten us to heights that I don't think we even imagined we'd get to. So, you know, our saunas kind of fit our demeanor. And these guys came up with the stupidest name. They wanted to call us the Bebops, the bad boys of sauna. And I was like, dude, that's so lame.
This is just as Joe's boy band sauna name that we rejected very early on. He also did spike his hair for this podcast, just so everyone knows.
I told you not to talk about hair. All right.
Where'd you guys come up with the name Symmetry? Where'd that come from?
Hit that.
Well,
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
He didn't ask how much it cost.
We brainstormed a bunch of ideas. Now I have to give credit to my oldest son, Justice, who just turned 13, because about 2 months before we chose the name Symmetry, at home at dinner one night, I was like, hey, everyone write down 10 names that you think we should name this sauna company. Well, right there on Justice's list is Symmetry Sauna. Now that kind of got shuffled to the side, and then we chose.
That's a piece of history. That's right.
Steve will fill in the rest, but when I announced the name Symmetry Sauna, Justice brings me his paper, and he's like,
he wants a cut.
Pay me. He wants the royalties.
I had to pay him $250 cash for the name, and he was pretty happy. Yeah.
Well, were you called something before Symmetry?
Yeah, we were
Custom.
Northwest Custom
okay,
Sauna, and we were starting to build outside of the Northwest, and so people in San Diego are like, you guys actually do work down here. I was like, now is the time to change the name before we go any further. And so I've being in the creative industry and branding and design, I've got good friends and my buddy Sean Ritzenthaler, who designed all of our stuff. We did a whole brand study with him, and it is hilarious that we land on one that our 13-year-old.
Good instinct.
Yeah,
there you go.
Maybe Sean, maybe he was in contact with Justice.
They could have been in
sure.
cahoots behind the scenes.
We wanted something that sort of spoke to, one, the beauty of it, like two, the obviously the body's symmetrical, health and wellness is symmetrical, and it's kind of it's beyond just sauna itself. Obviously we do cold plunge, we do lots of things in the wellness space now, and so we just thought Symmetry was beautiful, and
then you stuck with it.
What we do. We stuck with it.
Yeah.
You
So
just
now,
gotta go on.
what was how did you start getting traction out of the gate? Like, this is a pretty, how is somebody even in Idaho when they want to build a sauna? How are they finding you? Was that via the website out of the gate?
Yeah, and I mean. We
talk about the landing page. I mean, it was
just a landing page.
I told these guys, I said, dude, like,
It did
if we put up a
begin to work
landing page, we're going to start getting calls from all over the country. I don't know if they didn't believe me, but he put up a quick landing page and almost
that was
instantly.
very ugly. Yeah. But that just speaks to the need. Like when we first started, when we built our studio, it was sort of kind of before the wave, I think, because just from a marketing standpoint, people weren't finding looking for a sauna place, right? The phenomenon of sauna studios is pretty new. We're early in that, so that when people were coming to town, they weren't searching for sauna place. So we had to have big sauna, on the window and do all kinds of social media marketing and wave signs out front.
I remember when he put out the splash page, Northwest Custom Sauna. I was on a call with a guy from Scottsdale, Arizona, and he was a business guy, and he was like, "So do you guys only work in the Northwest?" And I go, "Where are you, sir?" "Scottsdale." I go, "Well, that's northwest of somewhere, correct?" And I was like, "So we'll certainly come down and build your sauna too." But he said, "How long you guys been around?" I was about a year. He's like, "If you were ever going to rebrand, because it might be a good time if you're going to expand, through the whole U.S." And I was like, "Yeah, we've been thinking about that." So he planted that seed again. I can't remember his name, but
Shouts out.
yeah, shout out to that guy from Scottsdale.
There you go.
But yeah, and here's the other thing. When we finally got the website done and it was launch day for Symmetry Sauna, I remember we're in this tiny office, Joe, Steve, myself, and your son Eli. And they launched the page, and so we're just basically staring at each other, and it was within a couple hours ding, ding, a lead comes in. I was like, and then it has never stopped since. I mean,
Or slow down.
I bet now we average about 30 really good qualified leads a day. And so we've got 10 sauna consultants on the phones banging or video calls all day, every day. It's wild. It's kind of like, we took a tiger by the tail and we're just hanging on sometimes and, not letting the ball drop.
We've taken a lot of missteps. I mean, you kind of mentioned it before, when we opened up what was called Heat Praxia. It was now Symmetry Sauna Studio, but it was Heat Praxia was our studio, this member page showroom. I remember it was during COVID that we, started building. Our prices, the prices on everything we were going to purchase went up like, 65%. Sam and I are funding this thing out of our pocket.
Hey.
And Steve's funding it with his sweat equity. He's building all this stuff, right? We're just shelling out the money.
At least $17 I put into
That
this
is
thing.
true. That is true.
That's all I had, though.
That's all he had.
what
And so we get done with this thing. We're way, way over budget. We're just like, all right, we're ready. And we unveil it. We take off the window wrapping. And we're standing on the outside looking at it. And I'm like, it says Heat Praxia. And I'm like, oh my God, we didn't do any marketing. How do people know this isn't like a heat and air conditioning company? So people are just, it's on Boulevard, right? People are just walking by like they have no idea. So
what is this?
yeah, Steve jumped on it pretty quick, but that was a big misstep. And you get to learn from these things. None of us have.
What did heat praxia mean? What's
Well,
praxia mean?
The practice of heat is literally
That
what
was
it
in
means.
it.
It was a made-up word.
We thought it would be fun to have a unique word.
It's stuck.
And it was pretty cool.
People
Until
loved it.
people started pronouncing it wrong, not knowing what it meant.
Did
and
you?
it's
How
an
long did it
HVAC.
take you to decide to change that?
We did that after
was
probably just
recent.
last year, actually.
That was recent.
And did you get membership in there out of the gate? Did people start coming in?
We did.
yeah.
It was slow.
Yeah.
It was slow because we're right on this beautiful little downtown street in Coeur d'Alene, and people are looking for bars or tourist stuff and souvenirs. So they're not really in the I'm going to go get sweaty vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But still, we built up a really, really amazing little community. And then our tragedy was one of the weeks that it was minus 15, the pipes above us in the building burst and flooded our whole
Total
studio.
loss.
We're about
Complete total loss.
1,400 square feet.
Yeah,
roughly,
tiny little place.
But it
Did you have
ruined it.
insurance for it?
Oh, go ahead and talk about that one, Steve.
Some. I'll just say that. There was some.
Well,
not enough.
no.
But,
By all first glances, we were completely covered. And then
You
on page
would've thought.
178, section 2-1A, if a water pipe
Frozen pipe.
breaks
Frozen
because
pipe.
of low temperatures, frozen pipe, you're not covered for
You get
anything.
you get
really?
$6,200.
We didn't know that clause was in there.
Yeah.
So we got hosed.
Like I mentioned in the beginning of this, we had a fire here that
Right.
was due to electrical in the sauna, and thankfully we had like full insurance, and that's how we were able to rebuild. And I mean, it's a massive massive bill to rebuild this place. Without insurance, we would have definitely, but I doubt we
well,
would
we were
have
more or
opened.
less without insurance,
Yeah.
but we chose to do it anyway.
Well,
so we found a new location. We have about 3,800 square feet now, and we completely rebuilt. And it's been really amazing.
We were faced with a decision in that, because Symmetry Sauna manufacturing and Symmetry build has taken off all over the country, become this, juggernaut. And now we have this little studio, and we're just like, why are we going to redo this
Yeah.
again? But the thing is, we made a promise. Number one, we made a promise to our general manager, Heather Gallegos, shout out, that, as we poached her from her old company, we said, hey, we're going to take you as far as we can take you. And, and you play it right. You could be an owner with us someday. And we just weren't BSing. So as we flooded out, we were out several $100,000, out of pocket. We're sitting there, Symmetry, sauna manufacturing's taken off. It's like, why are we going to do this again? And then Heather came to us and she's like, hey, there's a bunch of members who are leaving their auto payments on for us to rebuild. I'm like, oh my God. And so we're sitting there, we're like, dude, this isn't the cow, that manufacturing is. But a lot of people started crying out, how the studio has changed their lives, helped them, stop drinking, stop smoking, blood pressure, all these benefits that they were experiencing because of what we had exclusively in downtown Coeur d'Alene. So kind of like the adoption thing, right? We looked at each other like, well, we don't have the funds to really do it. Why should we do it? okay, let's do it. And we did it, and we made actual Heather, we made her, we kept to our word, and we took her from just an employee to she's now an equal partner with us in the studio,
Awesome.
lifting her as high as we could get her. So, and this is now it's our pet project, the studio.
She just texted us yesterday in a big publication in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, that Symmetry Sauna Studio voted best business in Coeur d'Alene for that year, which was
Solid.
Dang, that's pretty solid. And it is cool now too. There's a sort of a generational shift happening with a lot of these young people in their 20s. They're kind of entrepreneur minded. They're really into health and fitness.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not going to the bars and drinking. They're
Yeah,
coming to our studio to
percentage
sauna and
of,
cold plunge.
I forget the number. I just read it 2 days ago, but people are like the younger generation. They're not drinking.
Nope,
Like,
they're taking care of themselves.
They are
awesome.
health and fitness. They're
Yep.
like I was talking about my family. My kids are in their
Yeah.
20s and they're on a Friday. What are they doing? Oh, sauna and ice bath and working out and going to jiu-jitsu. Like that's kind of
So cool.
That's kind of the new deal. And so I'm really glad. I mean, I never would have gone into the alcohol business, but the alcohol business is, I know people in the alcohol business. It's a rough business right now. It's a rough business because the younger generation, they're just not drinking as much as the older generation did. So that's pretty cool and
Yeah.
and not surprising. I mean, as people have learned so much more about what alcohol does to your system, and not to mention all the other drugs. I mean, it's like horrific to think about, what your kids went through being born addicted to meth. Like, how addictive has something got to be that you'll jeopardize your unborn child's life? Like, can you imagine how just demonically
Fueled.
yeah, that's just it is insane to think about that. Hey, I was going to say this when you were talking about that, because you talked about they are kind of predisposed to be addicted, and that's one thing that I've told many people, but especially young people. Look, there's 8 out of 10 people, they can drink alcohol perfectly fine and be social and carry on, and it'll never be a problem for them.
Right.
And there's 2 people out of that 10 that it's going to negatively impact, and one of those 2 is going to wreck their life. And I'm like, and you don't really know where you are. So why you want to risk?
Why take the chance?
Yeah, why take the chance? When look, can it be fun for a young person to go out drinking at night or whatever? They have a good time, sure, but they could also have a good time if they didn't do that. They could have a good time doing a million other things, and there's no risk of ruining and destroying your life. And by the way, when you destroy your own life from alcohol, you pretty much destroy everyone around you as well. So I'm a huge supporter of sauna
Yeah.
in the replacement of that. So
Yeah,
when someone
love it.
calls up you guys, what's the they call up and say, hey, I'm building a house, or I got this space in my house, here's what I need, here's what I want, and then you guys go through the design process? How's that work?
Yeah. They'll call up. It depends how far along they already are, but let's say they have a floor plan from their architect. Yeah, sauna's already drawn in. It's a 7x7, and so we have a whole design book and all of that we can book a call with them on video, go through all the different lumbers we could put in there. Do you want salt walls? Do you want this? All these different benching profiles we can do. And people basically get to pick and design their own sauna to the aesthetics that they love. And then we'll do some professional drawings, send those over, get them a quote. If it goes to that next phase, then they're going to pay us, and we're going to get that sauna into production. Once it gets into production, we prefabricate everything up in Idaho. We're going to box it in these gigantic crates that are going to be trucked to their home once it's delivered. About 5 days later, our build team will fly out, boots on the ground, and then we'll install that thing and go through safety checks and do all that. And
It used to be a majority of homes. Now we're about 50-50 commercial. We do a ton of commercial, and that's actually growing even more. The cool thing is, considering we have a studio, I can't tell you how many competing studios we've actually built out. Right, it's with our stuff. But there's plenty of meat on the bone, plenty of people who need to get healthy, and places all over the country that we probably can't touch. So, we're more than happy to support these commercial places that just have a dream. And there's even been points where we've consulted some of these spaces for studios. Yeah, come on, fly down, and we'll teach you the ABCs of how to build a successful sauna studio. So I think that's the cool thing about us. We're not just trying to hoard it all and being the guys on top peeing on everyone else. We want everybody to rise together.
Yeah, and in the U.S. market, they think the saturation rate of saunas per house is 0.6 of 1%.
Yeah.
So whereas in Finland, it's just about 100%, right? So there's more saunas than people in Finland. So in the U.S., even though it feels like we're in this parabolic rise, we are at the very, very beginning of a very big thing that's coming in the next 10 to 15 years. Like,
saunas are expensive. They're more expensive than I think people expect them to be, because when you look at them from the outside, you go, it's a box with a heater in it, right?
Right.
But then when you recognize the fact that you got to put special materials in there, you can't use certain materials, you can't have glues, you can't have certain like treatments on the wood. Like there's a whole bunch of things that fall into place, and they end up. I was trying to think of a good way to say this. They're about as expensive as a car.
there you go.
And guess what? Can you get a car for $5,000? Yes, you can.
Right.
And, you know, that car is going to be a $5,000 car. Can you get a car for $100,000? Yes, you can. Is that going to be a really nice car? Yes, it is. And saunas are kind of that way. You can spend anywhere from $5,000 or all the way up to $150,000 to, and higher. You can spend. I mean, it's a small room with very particular materials in it, and then it's got to be designed a certain way. So they can be very, very expensive, and that's what you guys can do. Anything in that spectrum. But if I'm just saying this, if somebody calls up and they think they're going to spend $3,200 on a custom sauna,
Right.
It ain't happening. Like they're definitely more expensive than I think people are used to. Or people expect them to be, especially because you can see, you can go online and there's some sauna in a box that's got
$900.
For cheaper. And there's some, I haven't tried one of these, but there's some of these saunas now that are kind of like portable saunas, like they're like if you're a fighter, you put on you
Sauna
can carry them to your
blanket.
hotel room or something like that. So I guess those
Right.
are options too. But so that's the process that you guys go through. And do your people go and install them
Yes.
and build them out?
Now, not on everyone. Sometimes people have a GC who is experienced in sauna building, and they want him to do it. And then we're going to get him full elevations and shop drawings to help him have an easier install. But we're finding that, 65% of our custom saunas, they prefer to hire Symmetry to come out. It goes, and honestly, our cost to do that, I find, is about the same as what their GC was going to do it for anyway. And then I'm like, we're going to do it 3 days faster than him. This is all we do. We don't build anything else anymore. Saunas. So, like you guys in the Navy SEALs, specialists, right? We are specialists in this thing. So it seems to go better when we do it.
Yeah, I like the analogy you use there. It's usually when you buy the $5,000 car, right? Your goal is to get to the $100,000 car at some point. So for us, we get calls all the time of, hey, I bought this sauna and I'm not sweating in it anymore, right? I'm like, oh, well, what's the temp you're using it? Well, it only goes to 130 degrees. Right? So Sammy's turned me on to this point of, buy once, cry once, right? And what we're trying to do when people call in is we're trying to, walk them through their needs. Like, we don't want them to design and build something so big that, 3 weeks later, they're like, crap. Right, like I shouldn't have got it so big, or I shouldn't have got it so small. Right, so we're really trying to curtail our conversation and what we're trying to get to, or what they need. Right, what's the best value for you? We're never going to overcharge, for sure. We're going to give you value for value. But yeah, I think buy once, cry once. A lot of the stuff people buy, they'll end up, we have tons and tons of people who have either infrared saunas or barrels who are calling us like, yeah, I don't like this anymore. And what they've acclimated, right? They can only get so hot in some of these saunas. So for us, we're really focused on the overall heat impact percentage, the hips that they're able to fill, and we make sure we build it right. So we're going to be priced higher for sure, but you're only going to do it once.
Yeah.
At what point did you guys know you had a winner? Basically, at what point did you guys realize you had a winner of a business, and who called or what business or what came through where you were like, oh, this is happening?
I'll say we were finally able to pay ourselves. That was the moment. There was
how long did that
years.
take?
Oh shoot. We realized pretty quickly from the studio that we weren't going to be able to get a paycheck from this little tiny 1,400 square foot
In Coeur
studio.
d'Alene.
So it was
Business,
a year and a half, 2
what's
years.
the population of Coeur d'Alene?
50?
60,000.
60, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So even the best business in Coeur d'Alene with 60,000
not
people in a
crushing
sauna
it.
studio.
One of the cool things about how we started, right? So I got to bring up Josh and Shelly. So again, we're doing it backward, right? From how most businesses say to, stay away from friends and family in business. And we're like, dude, all we have are friends and family at this point. And so we were just, we had studio running. We were just launching the custom
Symmetry.
sauna manufacturing. And we're drowning already. So 2 people from our home group. So we weren't getting paid. Like none of us were getting paid. We're just, working as hard as humanly possible. So several months we're going through it. And a couple, husband and wife from our church, our little church group, said, hey, we want to come and help you guys out. We'll just volunteer a little time every week and, we'll see where it goes. Something. And, oh, cool. They seem smart. We never worked with them in a business capacity. They're just like church people. They show up with their little briefcases, husband and wife, on a Monday. They stay there for 8 hours. It's like, wow, dude, they did a lot of work today.
Doing what? Answering the phone? Or what were they doing?
Just typing stuff, answering phone, buying stuff.
We weren't sure.
We weren't
but
sure.
it looked impressive.
And they looked busy.
They were really
Hold on
doing
a second.
anything.
Let me make sure I understand this. So you guys have your business.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how many employees do you have at this point?
Well, at this point, it's just
4 of us.
4 of us.
Okay.
So
and some friends of yours
Yeah.
from church
Yes.
said, hey, can we just come in and work
volunteer.
for free
Yes.
at your business?
They came in on a Monday for 8 hours. Then they showed up the next day for 8 hours. Then they showed up the next day. For 6 months. So Josh and Shelly Watkins, huge shout out. We wouldn't be here without you guys. For 6 months, they worked for Symmetry with 0 paycheck, grinding with us.
How are they feeding their family or whatever?
They had another contract. They had a long-term contract doing
Marketing stuff, I think.
marketing and computer work for a
Got it.
company who would, when that company had something for them to do, they were like on retainer, they would send it their way. And they're like, they haven't sent us anything for 6 months. We have time on our hands. We want to come and help you guys out. And, turns out Shelly now runs our entire procurement.
Must have been a government contract. No work was being done.
Right. She orders all the lumber, the heaters. She orders all materials for our fabrication team. And then Josh he's a savant in building systems. He's now our chief of operations.
Yeah.
Like he built all the systems of how does a sauna sale communicate through the company to where it finally ends up to where it's supposed to be with the right people on the ground. And he's built automated all of these systems, and now he's using some AI to help automate things even better. The guy's a genius.
Well, little did we know, right? When they were coming volunteering, like we're just like, okay, we didn't know their background. We just figured they know how to use a laptop, right?
Right.
But yeah, Shelly was a procurement specialist
They're
who worked in
specialists.
tech. Josh is this savant, and now he's like into the AI with Eli, and they're building our infrastructure. That's why we're able to go into other verticals now, right? We have other businesses because we have the power team. We literally have the group of people we could, if we wanted to uplift and place in any industry and be awesome. Like there's zero doubt about it in my mind, but just the fate, right? To get them volunteering their time for 6 months. Then we started giving them a paycheck. So, and now they are an intricate, very important piece to the symmetry puzzle that we've laid out.
Awesome. So how long did it take before you guys cut yourself a paycheck?
I think it was about 2 years. It
was a while.
There was it was a little hand to mouth there.
Yeah.
Like, I was for the first couple of years, it was me designing and building the saunas. Like, and I'd bring help, but it was like, okay, we can take $1,000 each from this one. Kind of a thing.
During that time, I was still running
That's right.
bullet painting
Oh,
full
you guys had the
time.
paint business.
And and so Steve and I were owners of that, but any profits we made off that, we would just
dump
roll
them
over
back
here
in.
so we could get a couple $1,000.
Yeah.
And then when we finally got our general manager Adam to run bullet painting, then I came in full time right at the time we launched the Symmetry Sauna website, and I was getting paid a whopping $4,000 a month to take care of my family in Coeur
This is
d'Alene
great.
until we just started making sales, which happened quickly. Within the first month, it was like ding ding sauna sold, ding ding sauna sold.
Well, that's the stomach you have. That's the stomach you have to have, man. You've got to. Everybody says, they want to hit it big. They want to. 1%'s going to get there, but are you going to go through the grind of what it takes when your wife's like looking at you like, we have $0 in the bank. Why is we have a lot of friends and family, so we're big into the nepotism, and our my little brother I hired, to be a sales guy. He was getting, my brother Dan, he was getting paid more money than me. So my
Than
wife,
any of us,
middle of
yeah.
the night, she's like, "How's your brother making more than you? You're the CEO." And then I'm just like, "Hey, this is what it takes, right?" And so it's a sacrifice. So before you want to go jump in and run your mouth about how you want to be this big shot, man, you better be ready to pay the price, because it is a heavy price.
Yeah. No, you're the one that's getting the call when something goes wrong.
That's right.
By the way, what do you guys do about that? Sauna set up somewhere, something stops working, something breaks. What's your protocol on that?
Right. So we've actually built. So we have Symmetry Sauna Manufacturing. We have Symmetry Studio, and we have a separate company now, Symmetry Build. Right. And so Tony and Vera, they run that entire division. And they're so awesome. They run that entire division. So we go out, we send our team out. If anything goes wrong, we're on the phone, we're helping. Sometimes,
And if
unfortunately, we have
necessary,
to
we're
fly
hopping
right
on the
back,
plane, yeah.
right? And even though it dips into our margins, or even though we go in the red, right, on some projects, we committed to do something and to do it right. So we're going to see it through. So yeah, Tony, him and Vera are running that entire division. We have several teams that fly out of Coeur d'Alene. We have teams in Florida. We have people all over that this is what they do full time. In our queue right now, just, I don't know if it's for the next month, we have like 70, 80, 90 builds that we got to go fulfill. Again, we're writing, Sam and I are writing all these checks, and luckily we have the people surrounding us who can cash them.
But now we have full-time customer service person. We've got the build team that can travel. But early on, we did a beautiful outdoor sauna for a guy in Encinitas, and our team built it. A couple weeks later, I get a call from him like, "Hey, the sauna's not heating up. I don't know what's wrong." So Steve and I, next morning, we're on an airplane to San Diego. We come down. It took Steve 5 minutes. He's like, the electrician didn't tighten the wire tight enough. So we did that. Everything was fired up. We got to jump in the ocean, 2-hour surf session, back on a plane that night, back to Coeur d'Alene. So that was kind of the commitment we had early on, was like, we're not dropping a ball on anyone ever, whatever we got to do. So we would hop on planes and be in the middle of nowhere, doing a 5-minute fix.
Yeah.
And, that was costly, but at the same time, you get
it
happy
pays
customers.
so many dividends on your reputation, because if
Right.
everyone hears this, if I have a bad experience with Symmetry, I call my friends, "Don't use them, they suck."
Right.
That is so much worse. But when you take care of someone, man, that's so beneficial, because they spread that word too. Like, oh, you should do 100% go with these guys. I had this issue, they flew down there, fixed it, all good. That's what you got to do. That's how you maintain the reputation of the business. And
on the thought of when I felt we made it, or we got something big on our hands. Yeah, I don't think it was when we started getting paid. I think it's when I'm sitting there myself writing a $6 million contract, like plain attorney, because I'm still at that point, I don't think we could afford an attorney. I'm just like, oh my God, this contract looks good. And we get it. And then, it comes back and it's signed. I'm like, this is like a $6.5 million single contract. And, we're doing it. Like, we're playing attorneys, we're playing sauna builders, we're doing all.
Was that for one sauna?
It was no. It was for
big
sauna.
I was going to say, dude,
To be a world record sauna.
Yeah, no, it was for a franchise,
Got it.
studio location. We're just, we're contracting to make several hundred saunas. But man, that's when we were writing out that contract, and then I was like, okay, these bigger contracts, we're going to be able to get, and we've been able to secure some crazy relationships. And again, I don't know what's attracting it or to us, right? I just know, like, our partnership is probably something that it is a bit magnetic. We're all characters and funny, but we're all very honest, right? And straight out, as they like to call us, the bad boys of sauna. So we're just going to tell you the truth regardless, and so I think that's when I realized, like, yeah, that big contract, that first one was like, okay, we're in this thing.
And I had this year a moment where I was like, have we made it? Because I get an email, and the name is Laura Trump, and I'm like, nah, that's not. It's someone with the same name. How crazy! So I email back, hey, you want to book a video call over this, and we can help design your sauna? Sure enough, get on the call. It's Laura Trump, and I'm like, okay. I was like, first of all, I thought you would have an assistant doing this stuff for you. She's like, no, I like to be involved in it. And I was like, how did you find us? Did someone tell you about us? She was like, just looking at custom saunas, found your website. Clearly, you guys are the ones who are doing this the right way. I was like, well, hold on before you go there. Like, let us do it for you, and then tell the world that we're doing it right. But yeah, so we have a sauna in fabrication for Laura Trump, and then they want us to do the Trump Winery after that to redo the saunas there. So it was, that when moments like that hit, you're just kind of like imposter syndrome, right? Like,
Jocko, how did you find us?
Yeah. That's a good
I
question.
think Nikki found
Oh,
you
okay.
guys. So Nikki, who is doing the rebuild here,
Right.
and he's one of our part of our family at Victory, and he was tasked with building the best sauna we could possibly build here, and so he came to me and told me about you guys, and that's kind of how.
And
we
you
all
said
got
you
connected.
sent him up to Idaho. That was right.
Yeah, maybe.
You're like, check out
Let me tell the story from my perspective really quickly. Nick called and I answered the phone up in Idaho, and he said, "Hey, we got a gym down here in San Diego, and we want to put saunas in." And I was like, "What kind of gym?" He was like, "Oh, it's an MMA gym." And I said, "Is that Jocko's gym?" I said, "I heard the place burned down from the sauna. Is that true?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm Jocko's GC." And so, we started talking, and he sent me the dimensions and everything, and we did this. I sent him a quote. Nick calls me back about a week later, and he says, "Jocko wants to know why the saunas are so expensive." And I go, "Nick, Jocko owns Origin Clothing, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "I want you to ask Jocko a question for me. Why are his jeans so expensive?" And he goes, "Well, they're made in the USA." I go, "You know where our saunas are made?" In the USA. And he goes, "Oh, Jocko's going to like that."
That'll do it.
So
man.
that was kind of how it went. But and here we are. So kind of crazy.
So what are the how many employees do you guys have right now?
What are we?
Close to 40.
Yeah, 35 to 40, somewhere
something like that.
Yeah.
And then what's the goal? Like, what's the next big thing that you guys are doing?
Oh, who? Yeah, silence.
Go ahead.
So we've moved in a few different verticals. I think we are we're going into more the spa. I think that's where it's taken us. The overall spa, so not just limited to sauna. The different modalities. We're launching a cold tub, very custom. To match. Let's say you get an outdoor sauna and you had it built certain way. We can custom build the cold tub to match exactly that aesthetically. So we're in that game now. We've been building our own cold tubs. We did it in studios, so we feel like we have a decent handle on that. Then we're getting into what you call it, the IV. Right?
IV wellness, yeah.
IV
Working
wellness.
with Dr. Luke and Nick and
Right on.
maybe Jocko too. I don't know. We'll see.
Right on. And if you guys look back, here you are. You may not have made it to where you want to make it to, but you certainly are on step. You're all getting paychecks, right?
Hey.
That's a positive thing. When you look back, like what are the big lessons? Oh, let's go through each of you. Like what's the big lessons learned that if you were doing this again, or you were going to tell someone that's out there, look, everyone's out there trying to struggle, trying to make things happen. You want to take away or give somebody one piece of advice that would really have been helpful to you. What do you got?
I'll go first. And we had a few, I'll say, business advisors or people kind of speaking in our ear, telling us, slow down. You guys are going to make mistakes. You can't grow this fast. You can't expand this fast. And then, Joe and I would look at each other and we'd say, let's press the gas pedal harder. Because we knew that we're not slowing down. We are here, as Conor McGregor said, we're not here to take part. We're here to take over. And it's just the way we roll, like big vision. And we're going to go 100 miles an hour, and we're going to find the people, and we're going to train them, and we're going to build the systems, and we're going to do the thing. And then if I have to be on a plane late at night to go somewhere and fix something, then I'm going to be the guy that does that. But we're just, we don't roll slow, and we just saw the potential of what this can be. And so some classical business advice is, build super slow. We had one guy say, let's just do 3 saunas a month, and we'll do those 3 perfectly.
Best advice
And
ever.
and I was like, there's some of us who have to get a paycheck at some point. And I was like, we could do 30 saunas this month. Why would we not do that? And then just work 24 hours a day to make sure it goes well. And so, so we just, and the other thing that I would do.
Oh, you're going to steal my thunder. I know it.
100 times over is everyone always says, do not go into business with your friends or family, right? And And I always say, no. Know who your friends are. And because at the end of the day, yeah, making money is great because you need it to live. But the motivation isn't money. And I know these guys so well. And we've all been dirt broke and completely happy before. And I was like, if I'm broke again, that's fine. Because it's not going to change who I am. And it's not going to change Joe. It's not going to change Steve. So, but being in business with these guys, and there were times in the last couple of years where we had almost no thousands in the bank, and we're just looking at each other like, this could be it. Like, are we going to make payroll this month? And we were always just like, high five. If it all fails, it's been a hell of a ride.
It's been a blast.
It's been amazing, and we'll go to the local burger joint and just take that place over.
Yeah.
So just resiliency.
Yeah, one point I give people is, you need to listen to the demand signal. And sometimes people falsify the demand signal in their own head, right? Of course everybody wants Bulgarian waffles, and you're like, no one's ever heard of Bulgarian waffles.
Right.
Nobody wants them. I just made them up in my head, whatever. So one thing that's important is like, as you get demand signal for 30 saunas, there's no, like you said, like
Find a way.
like, okay, if you only have demand signal for 3 and you build 30, guess what? You're going out of business.
You're hosed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you need to pay attention to that demand signal. But if the demand signal's there, do everything you can to fulfill it and grow based on demand signal. Don't grow based on your fantasies. You got to have a vision, right? But there's a difference between a vision and a fantasy. And sometimes people's fantasy is not matching reality. So check that demand signal. But if it's there, go get it.
Right on.
What do you got, Joe?
Yeah, so Sam stole a little bit of my thunder, but
Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, it's okay. I was reflecting not too long ago, maybe a month ago, and I did share with these guys. I brought up that exact fact, right? I said, hey, man, when the sauna studio, when the heat praxia, the water pipe broke, and the insurance didn't cover it, and we're out several $100,000, we could have easily turned on each other. Like, you didn't, what? Why didn't we? Not once. Same thing, as we're building manufacturing and bank account goes way, 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 way up. We're like, yeah, we did it. And then it goes way, 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 way down. Like, what's happening? I called Sam into the office and Steve, I'm like, no, Sam only.
Yeah.
He was there. Steve was at studio working there. And I said, hey, Sammy, come here. Want to see something cool? He was like, yeah, check this out. And I pulled up my computer screen and it was not many thousands in there. And we had, a huge nut to cover. We're halfway through the month. And he just looks at me and I'm just like, oh, that's our bank account, huh? I'm like, yeah, pretty much all the money we have.
We had, I'll share. We had $10,000 in the bank account, and we were about in 2 weeks we were going to have to pay out $300,000.
Now, keep in mind,
So,
we are
like,
bootstrapped, right? Like we are truly bootstrapped from the ground for every company we built. We had no money starting. Like we had no loans. We got none of it. Like we did it out of belief and being too stubborn to take money from the outside, saying we're going to do this. So at that point, we wished we would have had money that we'd taken from the outside. We're like, oh, working capital, what is that? And so we're sitting there, but no blame game, no fingers. Oh, why'd we commit to that? Why'd we spend on that? None of that. And it was, and we got through that, right? Sam did give a speech like, hey, man, if this is it, it's been a hell of a ride. And we're going to go flip burgers for a couple of months, then take over the burger stand.
But I also said, I think we're going to sell 700,000 worth of saunas in the next 2 weeks and collect all that money, and we'll be fine. And we did.
And we did.
We hit
right?
that
it
number.
Was,
Yeah.
It was wild. But, so the biggest takeaway that I'd have if I could replay it or advise anybody is pick your partners wisely and make sure there's a synergy and something beyond X's and O's, something beyond money. Make sure there's a value drive, right? Like we had brought on relationships, who were in our ear saying, this is how to do it. This is how not to do it. But those guys were X's and O's guys, right? Those guys were how much money, how much cha-ching. And that was always, for us, we're always, value, Sam, even though he loves to make money and be awesome and competitive, he's out in Mexico and building houses, with his family, kids. And my wife and I, we're very involved in our time with orphans and donate, right? And so it has to be people that align with your values. So get those people, make sure they are not risk adverse, right? Make sure that if you guys agree, right? Think long, think wrong, right? You agree, think it's a dope idea, go, right? Build the plane mid-air. Do not let the outside noise distract you, because what's inside, that visceral thing, when you connect it with guys who are the same spirit, like, dude, unstoppable. Like, and it's not a dysphoria, like my body dysphoria. It truly is unstoppable. So
Yeah, that's what you just described is, clearly it's something that I believe in, the idea of ownership and taking ownership. And it's amazing how often 2 or 3 people or business partners make a decision, and they make that decision together. And of course, when the decision goes well, sometimes they still stay together, and
Right.
even when the decision goes well, sometimes think, well, that was really my idea, right? That does happen. But where you really see the fractures are when the decision that we made, we sat in a room, we all agreed
Right.
on this thing, and you know what, Joe, you might have been the one that was like, no, I, this is what we should do, and maybe I was the one that kind of resistant, but at the end of the meeting, I said, you know what, cool, we go. And it's amazing how that fractures when the decision ends up being the bad decision, and now instead of me going, hey, all right, what are we going to do to fix it? Instead I say, well, that was your call, Joe.
What are you gonna do?
And when that happens, when people aren't taking ownership within the ownership group, like together, unified. Because look, man, like, everyone's rolling the dice, and no one knows what the future is going to be. So it's really easy. It's really easy to that ownership group to start pointing fingers at each other. Right. So it's very nice to have you guys sitting here recognizing, like, it's kind of that thing. You go, we go.
And I can say,
that's what's happening.
I was the guy in your story sitting, arguing with my 2 guys about we have to make this decision. And I was the advocate, and they went with me on the decision.
Which decision was this?
A bad one. A bad decision.
Right
It was
Our
a
worst
bad
one.
decision.
Which one was it?
It was about a partner to partner with. And so the lesson there was don't make exceptions for personality for what you think they can do for you.
right.
So that was a big mistake. And I can speak from personal experience that these guys are gracious, and they took that we decision, and have not made me. Maybe
We had one session where we made you feel like crap.
I'm not saying they're not going to smack talk you.
But from the extreme
You're gonna get some
ownership
of that.
standpoint,
Right.
I also stand by what I thought at the time. I did think that.
And so what? You brought in one more person.
We did, yeah.
And you kind of you guys saw some red flags
From the beginning.
and yet you saw like, hey, there's also
I saw some green
benefits here.
flags, thinking this might be an opportunity.
This guy was a big businessman, very, very smooth talker, and had convinced us that he could take us to the promised land a whole bunch faster than we could get there by ourselves. But I saw a lot of red flags, and then a lot of just personality conflicts, and I was like, and I was selling the idea that this guy's gonna hose us. Steve had a much more optimistic view of this person.
Thank you for phrasing it that way.
And I think Joe was a little more neutral. But Steve, essentially, Steve, not a sales guy, somehow sold us on the idea.
You would think you would know better.
Right?
Hold on. So we have a rule with each other, and I think it's been from the beginning, and it's called 2 outvote 1, no matter what, and that one who's the outlier needs to change their attitude and get on board with the other 2, right? That's in all decisions. So we went to, Sam and I said no on this partner. We said, hey, no. We went and met with Steve at his house, like deep in the woods, and we said, not going to happen. We just don't feel comfortable. And we left. And Steve didn't have a good attitude about it, didn't let it go. And he called us and he's like, I think we're missing it, guys.
We need another meeting.
And then, somehow the non-sales
I read
guy,
a few sales books.
the
In
non-sales
meantime, took some
guy
notes.
sold us on this partnership. So begrudgingly, Sam was the most begrudging to the decision. I had a lot of apprehensions, probably a little more grace for this guy could possibly not be what we're thinking it is.
And we can
then-
wrap that up there, but say that, praise God, it didn't, tank us. Obviously, it didn't, collapse the partnership. We were able to get past it and learn some extremely valuable lessons.
I think even me now, I'm actually happy that it all happened, because we will not repeat that mistake again.
No.
Like we learned very early on, and even then it felt like big financial stakes, but in the big picture, it's small beans. What had to happen to remove that person from the partnership group? So lesson learned, and now it actually brought all of us even stronger.
Yeah.
So,
Together,
Yeah, and from that perspective, I look at I've seen, because I have a consulting company, we work with companies all the time, and you see, again, you get the senior leadership in a company, and one person makes a bad call, and the nice thing is here, Steve, is you had the humility to say, okay, I'm looking at what just happened. I made a bad call. We need to fix it. Like, yep. But I see the other thing happen where, no, you guys just don't get it. No, it's going to get better. Like, all the writing's on the wall, crystal clear. And yet someone just continues to lie to themselves.
Right.
And you can't pull them back. So that's a good thing to do when things start going sideways. Hey, you know what? Yep, this was on me. I made a bad call. Let's cut ties immediately. It's like with parachuting. You know, with parachuting, you're supposed to make the call. If you got a bad parachute above your head, you know, at 2,500 feet, you go, okay, this thing is not working, and you just get rid of it.
Right.
And is there risk when you get rid of it? Sure, there's some, but there's a lot more risk to keep trying to get that thing to work.
It's good.
So at a certain point, you got to cut that thing away. And so it sounds like you were able to reach back into some of your parachuting life and cut that thing away.
And truth is, I did read this book probably 15 years ago, sitting in my garage apartment in PB, you know, and I talked to Sam about it, you know, because we met on talking about business and life and all these things, and that did have an impact on me. And you know, the taking, you know, ownership of the decisions you make, and it's nobody's fault but mine where I'm sitting, and I decided to skydive for 10 years instead of building a business, and so here I am. You know, but learning amazing lessons.
You do have a world record, though, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Skydiving world record.
Yeah.
I think it still stands. Yeah, one of the largest naked vertical formations ever built.
How many people is that?
It was 9 of us. Yeah, 9 of us.
Yeah, you know why it's only 9?
Well,
because most people are smarter than that.
this may be true, but I still stand by it. It was a proud moment for me.
It's a world record.
It's a world record, and just to satisfy some curiosity, a lot of people do ask the question, "What does a naked skydiver look like?" And so, we're all fit, you know, good-looking people on the ground. But if you've ever seen a truck driving down a freeway with a poorly secured tarp, you know, just violently flapping and waving, that's what everyone looks like.
This doesn't feel like a comfortable scenario. It doesn't sound like a
It was
comfortable
not.
scenario.
But it was worth it.
And so I know we were talking before we hit record today, doing some kind of going to give somebody a sauna. Is that the deal? Is that,
Yes.
Is that on the plate here?
Yep.
So what is it? Giving away a sauna.
A special sauna.
Yeah, we have, and Steve has designed a new prefab freestanding sauna.
Indoor or outdoor?
Indoor.
Okay.
Comfortably fit to, let's say, if it's an adult Jocko size, I would say it's a 2-person sauna. If it's an adult my size, not quite as broad in the shoulders, I think 3 of me could fit in there nicely. So, but it's it's a very well built, beautiful sauna, and we're gonna give it away to one of your listeners.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
this is a rollout that we
cool.
wanted to do with you, and you know, having the opportunity to come hang out with you. We thought, let's launch a Jocko sauna thing that would be cool, and we're like, why don't we give one away? So we're gonna do that, and it's you know, we'll retail it, I don't know, $14,000-$15,000. Definitely for any of your followers who or friends who don't win, we'll do a massive price cut for them. But yeah, that's the goal. We're gonna cool sauna, probably one of the most beautiful in the market. That's what Steve does, makes things very beautiful, and be able to launch that out pretty soon here for you guys.
So
Yeah,
it's like
I was just told
a
that we're at the-
sweepstakes scenario.
Yeah, it's going to be an enter to win thing.
Yeah, it
And
sounds like you guys have never done this before.
We,
we have given things away before.
Okay. Yeah. Because there's you know, there's a lot of like legalities behind this. I don't know if you know.
Such
this.
as?
Yeah, like there's a lot of legalities.
Okay.
Like who can enter, how they enter.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's a really
Jeez.
big deal. I've given away stuff at Jocko Fuel before and at Origin before. And what you think is like, oh yeah, just have people sign up, and you know, there's a bunch of things. So
Okay.
you're gonna have to look at that over the coming weeks.
yeah, we have to make sure that it's my wife doesn't end up winning the sauna.
Yeah,
right?
there's all kinds of
'Cause,
things
Yeah,
like
that's
that,
the
yeah.
stuff
Okay.
that. Right.
Yeah.
Our
so-
attorney will make
We'll
sure
check it out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we'll I guess we'll announce that fairly soon of how people can sign up for
Yeah.
this legitimate giveaway. We don't know who's going to win it, but Someone's gonna get an amazing
Especially
sauna.
with Joe here talking about nepotism.
Yeah.
the whole
Hey,
time.
hey, hold on.
Well, we
My
know
son-
Joe's
son's
whole family
definitely
works
winning
for
it.
us, so we
My
can,
sons work for us, and they
make
happen
sure.
to win the Jocko sauna. Maybe we should make it a Jocko signature sauna. That'd be kind of
there you
cool.
go.
A
Yeah.
little signature. We actually don't even have a
Burn it.
name for the sauna. We tend to name all of our prefabs.
It'll
But
be
this one's so
very-
fresh. We
very
don't even
moving.
have a name. Yeah. We
Yeah.
don't. So if any
It's a beautiful little sauna.
any of your people out there have cool names to suggest once they see this thing,
Right on.
that'd be really cool too.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is, so people can check out the website, right, which is symmetrysauna.com, and at some point you'll put a banner on there on how to win this
Absolutely,
sauna,
yeah.
and then I'll put that out too, so people get the opportunity.
Yep.
Because sauna's good for you.
Super
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Make
right.
people
Your
feel
family
good.
enjoys it.
Yeah, no doubt. And this one here at the gym, both of them, the men's and the women's, they're going to get used like crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
they get used like crazy. I mean, this is probably one of the most ripe environments for a sauna, because you got people that are sore, people that are need recovery, and people that are cutting weight, and you put those three things together,
Right.
the
Yeah.
sauna is just like all the time going to be just getting crushed.
Right.
And that's why you need high quality. And awesome. So that's where we're at. Does that get us up to speed? Anything else?
What else?
We got a chicken. We got this beautiful
chicken.
chicken
We got
from
the chicken
Talia.
for that,
Yep.
yeah.
We got a sauna that you guys are going to give away, which is awesome. And then if people want to find you, it's symmetrysauna.com. You got Instagram and Facebook at Symmetry Sauna.
That's right.
And they can check that out. And then go check out Symmetry Sauna and enter this, which will be a legal,
Very legal. Absolutely.
Very legal.
Sweepstake.
All the hoops.
all the hoops, all the lawyers will make sure everything's cool.
That's
Yes.
right.
And that'll be that, man. Awesome.
Cool.
Right on.
Thanks, Jocko.
Thanks,
We
Jocko.
good? Right on. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming down
Yeah, I
here.
appreciate you,
Thanks for
Jocko.
building out like truly freaking most beautiful saunas I've ever seen. Those are the most beautiful saunas I've ever seen that are at Victory MMA. Anybody that wants to question that, come and have a look at them.
And
come
fight whoever's
Fight me.
in the
No,
sauna.
fight the winner.
Oh, yeah,
Between
that's
Steve
right.
and I. There we go.
So you guys are having a MMA match. Is it a grappling match tomorrow?
It's a
Grappling
grappling
match. Yeah.
So here's the grappling match for tomorrow. Steve versus Joe.
Yes.
Steve's weighing in at 190.
190.
How tall are you?
6'2".
6'2", 190. Where are you at, Joe?
172, 6'4".
Yeah. So he's 5'4".
With stilts on.
Whoa. 5'7".
5'7", 170.
going on here?
Steve has trained for
In the
1
past.
year.
Let's just say in the past.
1 year, once a week. 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
It was a while.
Okay,
It was a
so
while.
that could be dangerous.
It might be rusty.
No one's going to want to watch
Joe,
this.
2 years of wrestling in high school.
Not only that, my mom was a boxer,
That's
so
true.
all
Yeah.
the combinations she gave to me, like,
This is no striking, Joe.
oh, that's right,
No striking.
biting.
I need this face. You need that face.
And you guys are getting to train. You're gonna
That's
train
right,
here
with
at
one of your
Victory
coaches.
With one of the coaches for an hour. So this is
That'll be a good enough fight.
We should,
don't you think?
Jocko, you and I, as experts in this, we should do quick predictions on who we think
Ooh.
is
Don't
going to
even
win.
know.
Again,
Come on, the guy's sitting right here. Don't make him feel like
we
that.
were talking about this beforehand, and I think Joe's like, this doesn't sound like a compliment. I'm like, this was not a compliment.
We're not people. That's what we heard.
Yeah,
we heard
right,
we're not
because,
people.
No, it's so weird. The idea that people have in their minds about fighting, if they've never actually trained to fight. And even if you got in, some fights growing up, you got in some fights, you have this little sliver of like, oh, there's going to be some adrenaline. But to watch people that don't know how to fight, especially against someone that does know how to fight, which I'm not saying either one of you, because I don't think either one of you know how to fight, actually.
This is fair. This is fair, Jocko.
So it's going to be, but the interesting thing is, it's cool. An hour of training, see who absorbs the most. You're going to have a little bit, Steve's going to have a little bit of muscle memory from his 1 year of intermittent jiu-jitsu.
He has small muscles.
Joe's,
though, so it's not
Joe's
small
going to
muscles.
have his intermittent memory of wrestling and his mom's genetic
Yes,
boxing
this
skills.
is it. And
getting
Hopefully-
jumped in the
Even
bathroom.
though there's
Yeah.
no boxing here.
That's
So did you have a prediction you wanted to make, Sam?
Well, it's for you to watch them grapple is going to be like me watching football players try to play beach volleyball. Yeah, it's going to be ugly, atrocious, and humorous.
We
so
definitely do.
I,
No video.
Joe does not need a confidence boost.
No.
So if he wins, he's off the reservation.
Wait, your kids train, Sam? Do you train?
They do. I did train twice in the last month.
Okay, that's not.
So he could be
training.
both of us.
That's
Wait,
not
so
training.
but you haven't trained before that?
No, I
He came to the class a couple
back in the
times.
year. I went for probably a month with Steve, and then So now my training is watching my kids, and I'm just absorbing it. Yeah, I've got it.
That's
He
the
knows
best
a
way
lot.
to learn.
I got
Osmosis.
He's pretty good.
Goes so far
Arm
in
bar, rear
jiu-jitsu.
naked choke. My kids still can't beat me. Of course, I
Hey,
outweigh them by a lot.
Pick a winner,
Okay,
but be gentle to him.
I think here's my predict. I think Steve wins on length and leverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's 20 pounds heavier.
Right now, if Joe wins, it's going to be within about the first 30 seconds
Yes.
by neck crank.
That's it.
I could see that happening too.
Exactly.
But based on the rules,
Yeah.
number of subs, 2 5-minute rounds.
That's it. 2 5-minute rounds, number of
2
subs.
5-minute runs. You guys are going to be so tired.
Oh, they're going to be
Yeah, that's
taxed.
right.
First
That's
They're
right.
gonna
2
be dead.
minutes.
Yeah.
It's going to be humiliating.
Yeah.
Well, Jocko,
This is why we don't want you to watch.
Well, no, Jocko, to even up the score. So go ahead and pick your winner.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you're saying I should be rooting for you, Joe?
No, I'm not saying it. I mean, I can see in your eyes you want to. But go ahead. Just call it.
It's going to be a very disturbing and humiliating day for the.
I love,
you
I
for-
love that
thank you for
prediction
that.
right
Yeah,
there.
You know what I
that's
should
good.
do is I should have my daughter.
Oh, no.
yeah.
No.
Annihilate.
Yeah.
Oh,
Raina-
no, that's okay.
Dude,
What's
two
her
of us
name,
on
Raina?
one.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
Yeah.
I think she'd still win. I think that's
yes.
safe. That's not safe.
Yeah.
Seriously though, Jocko, I was gonna say one more thing. So I've been on a protein journey for a long time, and your chocolate protein powder,
Yeah.
dude, it is the best. Like
is indeed.
by far.
It's the best
and it
protein
uses
on
the
the
monk
market.
fruit.
Yeah.
It really is.
Right
Like
on.
I just gotta say it. I do it too many times a
We
day.
love that
So
stuff.
Right
I've
on.
actually stopped chewing food at this point. I'm just drinking Jocko
His
chocolate
teeth are
protein.
getting weird.
That's right.
Right on. Awesome, fellas. Thanks for joining us. Thanks
Yeah,
for
thank
getting
you.
after it. Keep getting after it, boys.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Jocko.
Thanks,
Chat.
Jocko.
And with that, Sam, Joe, and Steve have left the building. And clearly, the sauna, good for recovery. We call it recovery around here.
I like it.
But you got to earn recovery.
Yep.
Agreed?
Totally agree. I had a half-hour conversation just now, a second ago with Noah about that.
About recovery.
Earning it. No, you got to earn it.
Right.
The rest between sets is only useful if you have some sets.
Mhm.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just sitting there.
Yeah.
What are you even doing?
Look at you with the metaphors for life, bro.
Here to tell you.
Yeah, look at you. So we got to earn the recovery. We earning it training, lifting, running, sprinting, jiu-jitsu clearly, surfing, swimming. Just getting after it is what we're doing. So once you earn the recovery, you need to get in the recovery mode. You're going to need the right fuel. We recommend. What do we recommend?
Jocko Field.
Yo, look
I'm
at you.
here to
You're me a
tell
line
you.
there.